So there's people who waited, never had sex, and then they all of a sudden they get married. And then they have sex, and the only people that they know sexually is themselves, right? You and me and all the things. And
Mhm.
so, what if one day she's just like, I'm not sexually satisfied, or he's not sexually satisfied? How do they even know that they're not sexually satisfied? For one. And then, what if they break up and then find some other sexual partner? And then this sexual partner just absolutely does so many things that they've never experienced before in their life. And so now there's no coming back. Let's talk about it. What y'all got to say?
Hmm. Into
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So the inexperience versus the experience, I think, just like it can be mind blowing
Mm-hmm.
because of the inexperience, and then like I think that people have to like I don't want to say teach themselves. I say I want to say observe things and
Mm-hmm.
observe the little things that they partner like even if it's from the small kisses or the kisses on the neck. I think it's about following the woman during the whole encounter. For me, it is.
Okay.
I like to. I mean, just follow. Just be a
What
follower
does
and
that
a
mean?
giver. Like if I kiss her on her lips, like if I'm slow, because I think women are more. It's the intimacy of sex
Mm-hmm.
that makes it um that they fall in love with the intimacy of it, the slow pace, the what do you need, the body language without talking. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And some men are just known for getting right in there, no warming up, and just and whew, I'm ready to go. You know what I'm saying? And that will definitely leave a woman in, you know what I'm saying, like unsatisfied and then looking around because there's not a conversation there. They just expect to like, okay, sex is sex.
Mm-hmm.
But for most people, sex isn't just sex. It is like it's an intimate experience that you learn to you don't just you learn you like it, you love it, and it's just a part of it becomes a part of who you two are as an identity or a person or people.
Gotcha.
But yeah.
Okay. Anthony, what do you think?
it's it's tough because I've been on both sides,
Mm-hmm.
or no, I've been on one side since I've only had like only it's only been my wife.
Yeah.
So I am the inexperienced one, learning and going with it. But yeah, it's just it's a process, it's an experience.
Yeah.
Like you said, like a lot of dudes, they don't care about the other person. They just trying to get theirs. But for women, it takes a lot more than, and sometimes it takes a lot longer.
Yeah.
In most cases, it takes a lot longer.
Right.
Um, but yeah, it's definitely it's something. It's something for sure.
Yeah.
so so then we have so you have your younger ladies, let's just say like early 20s, and then you have your guys maybe like in their early 20s as well. Sometimes early 20s, sometimes they can be super inexperienced, sometimes these early 20s can be very much so experienced. I think that we everybody's kind of on both sides of that little thing there. Me personally, they said that you need to stop saying that. Me, I know that at the age of 20, I was very much so inexperienced, right? And so I didn't know what different things were. I didn't know what was going on with my body or anything like that. But I do know that you once you have another sexual partner, like say for instance, your relationship ends with the partner that you're with, and then you go into another relationship with someone else and it's a little bit different,
Mhm.
then it's just like, wait a minute, what is this, what's going on here? Because then you experience something new, and then you don't even know what was going on back here, because over here on this side of the table, this is something brand spanking new that I've never experienced before in my life, but I know I like it, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And so then you have those types of things. And so I don't know if women um continue to look for that, or say for instance, if your partner doesn't satisfy you sexually, right? If they don't satisfy you sexually, what do you do as a man? What would you do? What do you do, Bo and Anthony? What would you do if, for instance, you were with someone that didn't satisfy you on a sexual or relation type situation? If they were never satisfying you, what would happen?
I'll go first on this one. For me, it's a conversation.
Mhm.
Because especially if you're married, a lot of people would, say, I'm gonna have to step out, I'm gonna have to find me a side
Right,
piece or
right,
something. But for me, that's not something I'm interested in.
right,
So it's a conversation that has to be had, and you have to explain. In a sense, you got to teach a person
right,
what you like,
right.
so that you can get there.
Mhm.
So it's really just a conversation, and us going back and forth, and taking the time and the patience to actually figure each other out.
Right, I got you. But what about you?
For me,
Being the more experienced one.
well, for me, I think, or what I've done
Mm,
is take it really slow. Take
mhm,
it slow and then you kind of just see, you kind of see what they like through trial and error. You know
mhm,
what I mean? I know for one, most women who want the full experience, so to say,
mhm,
you start off with the intimacy and
mhm,
then not rushing them and making them very comfortable. And as a person is more comfortable, they're they're more open to doing more things. You know
mhm.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So as you get them comfortable, um, they're willing to try things that they've never tried before. But first, as the teacher,
Mhm,
you take your time. If they're, the intimacy, the kissing, the slow kissing, the even the holding of hands through it all,
mhm.
small kisses here and there. It's just like I want to say it is trial and error, but from my experiences, most women they love intimacy.
Mhm.
So the pace, setting the mood, and just the body language, because the body's going to succumb to whatever it likes.
Mhm.
So if you're doing something that she likes, you can almost feel her getting more comfortable.
Right.
And if it's something that she doesn't like, you might feel a twitch or I'm not ready for this or ready for that.
Right.
But
Like more
yeah,
resistance.
more resistance. So as you are taking your time,
Mhm.
you're paying attention, you're listening to her body and you're listening to her at the same time. A lot of women,
Mhm.
some talk through the process, you know
Mhm.
what I'm saying?
Of what they
Of
like.
of what they like.
Gotcha.
Some don't, and you just have to pay attention to their body.
Right.
She is satisfied,
Got it. Makes
and then
sense.
I can go.
Makes perfect sense. I know that sometimes as women, you know, we get the short end of a stick sometimes, if I'm just being perfectly honest with you. Because when you have people that don't take their time, or when you have people that are just like, hey, it doesn't really matter. I'm gonna get mine. You can catch on if you need to, whatever the case may be. I feel as if intimacy starts before you even think about going to the bedroom.
Right.
I think that intimacy starts like even throughout the day. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Even in the morning. It's just that like you said, some of the small minute things, holding
Mhm.
up the hand or just kind of softly brushing up against somebody or whatever.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's just things like that. Because if you don't do those types of things, then and the only thing that you want to do is just as soon as you get in that room, cut them lights off and do what you gotta do, and you done in about 5 minutes. Then what is that? You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? What is that? So I think as a woman, we definitely love the intimacy first and foremost.
Mhm.
Because if that's the case, we're good to go. And we're as you're giving or whatever the case may be, we're willing givers too.
Mhm.
Because as women, we're nurturers by nature
Mhm.
and we like to take care of. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
So I think it's just that part of it too. But
Mhm.
what if there's a husband and a wife that they are dating, or back in the day we say courting,
Mhm.
um, and they've never experienced sex before in their life, right?
Right.
So now we have inexperienced girl, inexperienced guy, and then they wait until they're married, and then all of a sudden they have sex, and then they marry, and then it's not what they thought it was going to be.
Mhm.
What happens?
Well, like I said,
Because she doesn't know what she likes.
she doesn't know what
Because
she
she's
likes.
never experienced this.
Mhm.
He doesn't know what he likes because he's never experienced this with a woman before, right? So they don't know what they like, but they know that they didn't like that.
Right.
That wasn't what it was. So what do you do at this point?
With making love, I feel like it's like the husband wants to please the wife. The
Mhm.
wife wants to please the husband. So there is no time limit because we're still discovering each other's bodies, what you like, what you don't like. And it's almost like two people holding hands and it just automatically happens. And then everything once it falls, things start to fall in place
Got it.
because I'm so in tune to you and
Mhm.
you're in tune to me. So I see what it is that you like even before we have sex,
Mhm.
or even when we're having sex. I'm looking at your expressions. I'm looking at the way you move when I kiss you, when I put you up close to me. It's like when making love, it's almost like your breathing patterns become like they're in tandem, like they in sync.
Mhm.
And when you begin to make love, everything falls into place because of how into you two are into each other.
Got it.
And so it's like an automatic thing for me, the making love part versus the sexual part. Because the sexual part, when it's just sex, they're looking for an experience. Because you ain't got to be married to nobody to have sex.
Right.
You ain't got to be in no relationship to have sex. It's an experience, a physical experience that a lot of times that doesn't go past that for either one person or it could be both of them.
Mhm.
But when making love, you're both in tune to each other and you want to please the other one. So it's just like being patient and giving, taking turns giving and receiving.
Mhm.
So
Got
the
you.
difference for me.
What do you think society sees, or what do we get most from society? Say, for instance, are we getting the love making that's from a woman and
Yeah.
a man, or are we just getting the sexual part of it? Woman and man, two men, one woman on here on the on the podcast. So, what is society showing us? What do we see out there? Is it the love, or is it just sexual?
We're definitely seeing the sexual. And like to be brutally honest,
Hmm.
that you ain't gotta know me. Ooh, you attractive. Oh,
Yeah.
you attractive too.
Hmm.
Let's do this.
Right.
And just see where it goes. Like one night stands happen all the time.
Hmm.
And not to say that people don't have one night stands and then may enter into a relationship, but right now, nobody wants to take on the accountability or the commitment of a relationship. So in society, we're just seeing people have sex unprotected,
Yeah.
um, not caring for themselves, hygiene bad, and just spreading that one to another one. Like that's what we see in the society.
That's
We
true.
don't care
That is
in
true.
society. We just want to do something.
That's true. I totally agree with you on that. Working in the medical field, you see a lot of things that happen. In my, I want to say what, 15 years of nursing, I've seen so many things go on. I've seen where, like you said, just having relations, like with somebody down the street or with somebody in a hotel, or you spend money to do all these things. I know that people say that, having relations with your partner, your spouse, whatever the case may be, it means something. And to a lot of women, having sex with your partner means something,
Mhm.
Sometimes it doesn't mean too much to a guy because honestly, I'm not going to say it's about numbers or whatever the case may be. Sometimes guys just don't care about it as much as women do, because when women do, that means we're giving ourselves to you. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Because honestly, we coming at you wholeheartedly and different things like that. And that's for most women, and not for all, but
Mhm.
for most. And this is what we see and this is what we do because we feel that way. Because if I'm willing to lay with you,
Mhm.
this means that I must care for you.
Mhm.
I have to care for you. I care a lot about you. So I think that, women and men, we think a little bit different when it comes to different things like that as well. One question. We all know that we all go to church. We all been in church. We were like basically old school, right?
Mhm.
With our grandfather being Kojic. Um, People are not big believers, and with our grandmother,
Mhm.
are not big believers in exploring our sexual feelings.
Mhm.
They don't believe in like, hey, I like this, but I don't like this. She always said that sex was for making babies only. You don't have to enjoy it. It's not meant for you to enjoy.
Hmm.
But sex is definitely meant for us to enjoy and be a part of. If you have a baby while you're doing it, that's just that comes with it.
Hmm.
But what do y'all think about that? Like old school versus new school? Because I feel as if some of the older saints,
Hmm.
just like our grandmother thought that way, some people may think that way. And then some people might think that all the extra that people do in the bedroom is uncalled for and unnecessary, because my grandfather definitely said that he was not in agreement when it comes to different
Hmm.
things that people do with sex nowadays.
Right, right.
He was always saying all this is filthy. That's just filth.
Hmm.
But as married people, we explore the body.
Hmm.
We explore different things. So, what do y'all think about that? Do you think this is filthy? Do you think this is a sin? Who's to say that we're wrong in exploring the different things that our partner may or may not like?
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So, what say you about that part? Was our upbringing wrong?
No,
Or
no.
were they just taught that way and this is what they thought about it and they didn't explore different things? What do y'all think?
I think that's the difference between. I think that's the difference in tradition and sometimes thinking outside of the box,
Mhm.
because, like it just said, the bedroom is undefiled,
Right.
and then there's different scriptures that I can remember my papa talking about um, that men and women would take on the nature of dogs and licking and lapping and you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying, stuff like that to that nature. I think that some people, they didn't explore their bodies and they just thought it was a traditional way to be fruitful and multiply.
Right.
But for anything that has feelings into it,
Mhm.
you're either meant to enjoy it or not overindulge in it. So I would say that's personal
Right.
for each individual. So I wouldn't feel comfortable with saying like, hey, you're wrong and you're right,
Right.
because the sexual appetite is as different as your palate.
This is true.
So to each their own.
Mhm.
I mean, I ain't no judge, no way. You
This is
understand what I mean?
we can't judge, but
Okay.
my question is
Hmm.
this. Well, this is my thought process.
Hmm.
If God created
Hmm.
or put in some man's mind to create medicine to help us get over an illness,
Hmm.
to help us when we have disease, to help us when we have different things that we can't fix, but the medication can,
Hmm.
then put that in perspective of he gave us these body parts
Hmm.
with all types of feelings in them,
Hmm.
with all the things that we love, because honestly, if you do this, I can feel it and ooh, I know I like it.
Hmm.
If you do this, oh, I can feel it and I know I don't like that. So
Hmm.
if that's the case, why would he give us feelings in all of these different body parts that we can explore if we're not meant to enjoy?
I think the body part question
Hmm.
is every body part has a function.
It
So
does.
let's not lose track of what these functions may be before we get to using them for our own pleasures. You
But
know what I'm
I
saying?
Absolutely.
totally get it.
Because
Absolutely.
I do not know. I
Gotcha.
do not concur with everything that happens, but
Right. I totally
I
get that
do
part.
Absolutely.
I do agree with the love making part. I think that sex
Hmm.
with partners, I know, be fruitful and multiply.
Hmm.
I do believe we were meant to enjoy it with our partners
Right.
because, let's say, I don't want it to be too far, but like, God is love, God
Right.
is unity, right?
Hmm.
So think about a man and a woman, right? Even with their bodies, and then their different, sexual organs or whatever like that. Parts come together,
Hmm.
they they tend to fit perfectly,
Yes.
like keys and locks.
Absolutely.
So I think her he is her key,
Right.
and they unlock
Right.
uh the fruits
Right.
that are us, that are the offspring.
Right.
And through all this whole process, through the whole process, we either learn to be good at it,
Hmm.
or we lean to our own understanding and just be
Doing whatever you
whatever.
want to do out
Do
here in the
whatever you want.
streets. And if we
And then,
tolerate it to be tolerated.
yes, because like you said, some people, they never experience orgasms at
Right.
all. But they like I say with a woman, they feel so deeply for this person to that they're willing to sacrifice their orgasm for
Don't
this relationship.
yeah, don't say that on Saint TV. We're gonna be all right though. I
Okay,
got you.
willing to
I'm just
sacrifice
joking.
sacrifice their
Pleasure.
their
Pleasure.
pleasure
Right.
for this relationship,
This is true.
and
I've seen it. I've experienced it.
it's not fair.
No, it is not fair,
I don't
but
think it's fair.
I'm telling you, women will definitely do it if we are like, honestly, we feel like we love this person
Mhm,
and they could be the, I'm not saying the worst, but
mhm,
they could be a person that honestly you will never get pleasure from.
mhm.
You never experience pleasure from this person. You never know what pleasure is, right? But because the love runs so deep, because it can't be about the lust. Because you're not, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Because you're not getting what you feel like you need. So the love runs really deep to where it's like it doesn't matter that I'm not happy over here. But all that matters is that I'm caring for you and you just getting what you need. And honestly, we're doing ourselves a disjustice. And I'm not saying that you can't love somebody that's not pleasing you. But what I am saying is in my older age now, a conversation definitely needs to be had
Right.
for sure. Because if you're not pleasing me, then we need to talk about it
Yeah.
or different things like that. And so there's a lot of things that goes with like if it's for making babies only, why does like a kiss on the neck, I
Mhm.
mean, honestly, does something to your desire?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Or whatever the case may be. So I feel as if I don't think it's just for baby making purposes only because if
I
that's the
don't
case,
think
then
so.
you wouldn't have feelings where women or men have feelings at, or there
Right.
would not be like little you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying, or
Yeah.
different things like that. So I just think that it's an interesting conversation because if you think about our grandfather and if you
Mhm.
think about like our great or our grandmother, their thoughts on sex is totally different than our thoughts on sex today. Which brings me to we're all 30s and 40s,
Mhm.
right? How in the world does kids, young men, teenage age, young women of teenage age know what intimacy, sex, and all that stuff is about? That's another thing for another podcast. But I just, to me, if we're still trying to get it right on this side of the hill, how in the world do they think they got it right? You know what I'm saying? But
Social media
yeah, it is definitely
Mhm.
social media.
access.
It's just it's a lot going on
Mhm.
where there's like you don't even know what it really means to be intimate with someone because we're still trying to figure that part out. We don't even know like what our partner's like because honestly, we still trying to figure that part out. We're trying to hold on to what we got on over here with conversations and counseling and all the things.
Mhm.
And then how do you know what's going on over here in these streets?
See,
Yeah.
on there, a lot of young men are starting really early nowadays.
Yes.
I'm not even gonna talk about girls. I'm gonna talk about the boys.
Yeah.
They're
Right.
starting a lot earlier
Mhm.
nowadays.
Yes.
So they feel like they done built up this experience.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then of course, some girls said they was really good, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So now they think, yeah, I'm hot stuff now,
Yeah.
you know what I'm
Uh-huh.
saying? After I done,
Yeah.
conquered all
Yeah.
I think that's where a lot of it comes from. And of course, social media and like you said with the access,
Access of everything.
it's so easy to access nowadays. Like you can just open up X now and it's right there in your face.
True.
But yeah, a lot of young men are starting a lot earlier than earlier than even my day.
Yeah. For
But
sure.
in some cases is because it was forced up on them, and then in some cases they just felt like all their other friends was talking about it, so I need to hop in this too.
Yeah.
So
I totally understand that. And I totally agree. What were you saying? I'm sorry.
And I could speak on that because even on the divide, like some of them are starting very early. Like you said, it was forced upon some of them. Me myself, I can say I started early because it was forced upon me by an older woman. I was,
I was gonna say that, but
yeah,
I didn't. Yeah.
by an older woman,
Mhm.
and I never really shared that with a lot of people.
Yeah.
But I think I was I was probably like 11. She was like
Mhm.
19, and
Mhm.
I didn't know what was going on.
Mhm.
What?
I didn't
Mhm.
know what was going on, and she was like, because you know how kids used to hunch back in the day and stuff like
Yeah.
that, or whatever.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it was like, well, take your pants down and put this in there. And I was like, well, what is that gonna do?
Yeah.
I felt the difference, and I was like, I was still like,
You were
what?
11?
Yeah, yeah.
Sheesh.
And I felt the difference. I was like, what is this? This don't feel like hunching no more.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna take them off.
Oh, she know. I don't have any secrets with my mother.
For real. I'm
But
just
yeah,
playing.
it's like it was forced upon me. So um it created, I want to say it created an appetite early.
Yeah?
Yeah. And then it happened a few more other times. Then, you know what I mean? Like I can say this, and we could probably laugh about it now. I'm 40 something years old. In my early, I don't think I was 20 yet. So I had been drinking or whatever. I was with these women or whatever, who was chilling and all that or whatever. I I was drinking, and I think I passed that. I passed out. Like I passed out for real. And when I woke up, this woman was on top of me, and this other woman was laying on my legs, and I was like, wait a minute. And I couldn't get up. I've always been tall, but I used to be
Yeah.
real skinny.
Skinny, yeah.
And these weren't skinny women.
What?
I couldn't move.
Was she holding you down?
Yeah. Yeah, it was holding me down. And I remember the first time that I told somebody this, I told some of my family members this, and they laughed at me in my face. And I was like, what's so funny?
Yeah.
They was like, oh, she didn't rape you. You wanted it. I said I was passed out.
Man, that was
Yeah.
So I
rape.
laughed. So in turn, as I told someone about it and they laughed about it, I was like, well, maybe it was funny. Maybe I did want it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Mhm.
And it just happened like that. And it was like, you know what I mean? That's what happened. And it created a sexual appetite. And in
Mhm.
this sexual appetite, I was um having more access to sex all the time now, because now I know what sex is, even if
Yeah.
in turn, even if my couple of first experiences were bad.
Mhm.
And then the one time when it wasn't bad and I enjoyed it, I paid attention to the small details. So from then on, I've always paid close attention to everything around me and the people around me and their body language when
Mm.
they're talking, when they're walking. I could tell I could tell if we was in a blacked out room and there was a light at the end of the room, I could tell it was my sister. I could tell if it was Anthony, because the my eye to detail is crazy, because
Yeah.
I tell how you walk.
Right.
I become so familiar with the shoes I see people with on. I ain't even got to see your face. I know that's you, because now it sounds crazy. Your shoes and you, they have
Go
some,
together.
they
Yeah.
go together.
Right.
Mhm.
So I pay so close to detail because that's just become second nature to me now. And in that, I mean, like we were saying, talking about these different experiences that men and women have, and they, some of them are being satisfied, some of them are not being satisfied. I've been in conversations with women before about this, how they were never satisfied with their husband and this and that. And at the time, it was just a conversation.
Mhm.
We talking about 15 years ago, me, or
Mhm.
whatever. And it would always end up into me being like, okay, we just talking. And I don't know, for some reason, I would feel some type of pity for a woman who never had an orgasm. Not to say that I just sit here and have sex with every woman to try to do this and do that.
Right.
But the way I pay attention to detail, and I see when someone is talking to me, and through our talking and me telling you I pay attention to detail, and you see that I pay attention to detail, the topics comes up.
Mhm.
And before you know it, or before I knew it, I end up doing something,
Mhm.
and we end up doing something together, or whatever, like whatever the cause, whatever the case is. And it was just, I don't know. I've been there in that position so many times to where I was just like, either I'm really, really good at this,
Mhm.
or because I pay so much attention to detail and I take my time and I do that, that sounds unfamiliar to a lot of women that I've talked to.
Right.
And since it's unfamiliar to them, then they become curious.
Right.
And in that curiosity, you know, what the saying says, it just things happen.
Yeah.
And it just, you know what I mean?
You're right. I want to take it back just a couple of little
Mhm.
steps. So, at the age of 11,
Uh-huh.
you were raped.
I had sex when I was 11. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then again when you were older
Yeah.
by two women.
Yeah.
Okay. That fueled your sexual appetite
Right.
more so.
Mhm.
And then with that, you say you start paying attention to a lot of detail with what women like and different things like this. And so this brought about conversation because you paid such close attention
Mhm.
to where when you did talk to a lady and she was unhappy, then you can basically pinpoint why she wasn't, and
Right.
then you can give her what it is that you feel like she needed or what
Right.
she's saying to you every other word in code, like, but you can piece it
Yeah.
together.
Yeah. Right.
Gotcha. So do you think with that and how it happened, do you think that is like I'm not gonna say a blessing in disguise, but do you think this is a curse as well?
Yeah. I am the youngest of 6 children.
True.
I have my sisters, I have my brothers. I was raised with my sisters for the most part.
Hmm.
So as I would see y'all in different relationships or with a relationship, I'm like, and then to hear the backlash of it, well,
Yeah.
he think you this or whatever, he think this. I was very observant. I listened.
Hmm.
I always listen like, so why would he do that? Or
Yeah.
why would he do this? Or why would he do that? Why would he just not show you how he really felt or something like that or whatever? And I observed and I listened to all of this. And I was just like, I always prided myself on not being the typical male that people say,
Yeah.
and to take my time and to be romantic and to be patient and to do all these things. And it just made me a different person from what I normally see.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but I don't know.
That's
Man,
crazy.
see, so that's tough and that's scary because it could have went a totally different way.
He could have.
Yes.
It could have, because when that happens to some people don't handle it like you did.
Right, right.
Some
Right.
people become predators because of that, or they
Yes.
go for revenge or whatever, or it traumatizes them
Yes,
because
for
of that.
sure.
Since it happened so early on, and they realize later on in life that, oh, this wasn't like, because a lot of especially back in my day, a lot of the kids was looking at that like a badge of honor.
Yeah, yeah.
They was looking at it like, yeah, I just messed with the older lady,
Yeah.
18, 19, whatever. But you 12, bro.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, for real.
she could go to she should go to jail.
Yeah, for
You know,
sure.
so
For
like
sure.
it could have went a different way.
Right, right.
It really could have.
That-
It's scary because like like you said, when you told people, they laughed it off.
Yeah, yeah, they laugh at me.
So and especially when if you told like dudes, that's what's gonna happen.
He had to have told dudes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When you
So,
they gonna laugh it off, or they gonna dap you up, one of the two.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people aren't gonna take that like, oh my gosh, like this actually happened to you. We need to go. That's not what was gonna be said.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
And that's what's scary to me.
Yeah, that's true.
That's scary.
It is, because honestly, even now, thinking about putting my boys in that situation as a mom, I don't even know what I would do. I'd probably try to go beat Billy Joe up.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
probably would, because honestly, you're taking some virtue from a kid that really don't know too much. 11 years old.
Right.
That ain't right.
It's not cool. And like I said, it's not cool. And sometimes I think I even remember, I do remember when it first happened. And it's the secret of not telling anybody the first time
Yeah.
when it really
This
happened.
happened multiple times with the same person?
No.
Oh.
The first time that it happened,
Gotcha.
and not telling anybody because of what all comes with that,
Yeah.
and who the person is, and like, you know what I'm saying?
We know him?
Oh yeah, for sure.
For real?
Yeah. But yeah, it was just, we, like you said, we talked about it years later. Like years later.
Yeah.
And it was like, dang, really? And then I had a conversation with somebody about it, like in a workplace, we was talking about it, and they was like, "You're the victim, and you shouldn't." I was like, back in my day, a male couldn't be a victim. You couldn't be a victim.
To your mama, you could be.
Yeah. But
Mama would have
yeah,
ramshacked some things.
yeah, probably more than definitely she would. But the the consequences that would have came with that,
Yeah.
with knowing who it was, that would that right there would have that right there would have been
For real?
bad.
I
Yeah,
don't think I even want to know. Oh my God. Are
yeah.
they still alive?
No,
Yeah,
No.
it's
yeah,
tough. It's
Jeez.
scary. 'Cause like you said, like even if you had told them, some people would have probably not even believed you.
uh,
Some people would have just dapped you up. Some people would have laughed it off.
Circle, but honestly, sexual and sex it's a tricky thing
mhm,
sometimes. It really is. Because like you said, we can go from one extreme to the next
right,
without a thought in the world. And as husband and wife, you want that intimacy. And
right,
when you don't have that intimacy, it's a whole problem in your relationship. And then we have to have conversations about different things. And if we don't have conversations about different things, then honestly, people gonna start stepping out because, like we said at one point, women detach because of emotions,
mhm,
guys detach because of physical attraction. And if they're not happy with what they're getting, if we're not having conversations, then somebody's gonna be looking for something else,
mhm,
right? And then women can too, because if you're nice to me and you're talking to me like Bo was talking to these other ladies, and then honestly, what happened? You ended up having sex with them anyway. You know what I
mhm,
mean? And so because they're looking for a connection, they're looking
right,
for someone that's gonna make them feel a certain way. They're gonna make them, they want somebody that's gonna make them feel sexy and wanted and desirable, and when you're not getting it at home, that's the whole problem. You ain't got to tell me that I'm cute every day. But
right,
even if you don't believe that I am cute, tell me that I'm cute anyway. You know what I'm
mhm,
saying? Because honestly, it makes us feel like we're desirable. It makes us feel like that you really do, you know what I'm saying? You do think of us on a higher playing field than anybody else.
mhm,
And we take that and we eat that up because we love those types of things.
right,
We don't have to have it every single day, but we love those. We love to know that you think about us like that. You know what I'm
mhm,
saying? So
right.
that's just me on my side of town with that. Do what about y'all? Y'all have anything?
I agree with you. Words have power and a whole
Mhm,
lot of power on both sides. Because
Yeah.
there's some men, like I know a lot of men will say, "I don't need you to tell me," but there's some men.
Yeah.
I'm one of those men.
Yeah.
If my wife tell me I look good, can't
Yeah.
nobody tell me nothing
That
else.
part. That
Nothing
part.
else.
I
I feel
know.
that.
Yeah. So sometimes, like just speaking to your partner,
Yeah.
Yeah, you
like
should.
words of affirmation, even if that's not your primary love language,
Yeah.
still
Yeah,
speak into them, speak over them,
For sure.
mhm,
because words have power,
They
they
do.
do.
100%.
They do.
And then I kind of wanted to touch on the topic you were talking about, if both partners don't have any experience and they
Yeah,
come
yeah.
together. There's things that can be done. First of all, there's conversations that can be had
Right,
Mm-hmm.
because y'all can help each other explore through
Right.
conversation.
mhm,
This don't feel good, that feels good, blah 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 blah. There's such thing as a sex coach.
Yeah.
Those are out there.
Yeah.
And it's not what people think. It's not somebody you coming over to you having sex with. And
Right.
that's not always the case. There might be explicit ones out there, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But there's material out there. There's educational material out there
mhm,
that you can read
Read
over
on.
and learn. There's couples therapy,
Mm-hmm.
because the therapist can help you explore areas in your mind that you haven't explored yourself.
Right.
Sometimes it just takes unlocking an area of your mind, to get to these different levels.
This is
mhm,
true.
So there's things out there that can be done, especially if, neither one of y'all have that experience.
Yeah.
You can also talk to your friends because
Yeah.
oftentimes, like sometimes you have a friend that's well further in years than you.
Yeah.
They can tell you this is what we did. This
Right.
might not work exactly like that for you, but these are the steps that we can take, and you can use that to kind of help you navigate as well.
Yeah.
So like have conversations.
I got you.
mhm,
Really.
You're right. Having those conversations are so important because it doesn't leave the mind wandering,
Hmm.
right,
and that's a big part. And I don't know for a guy because I'm not a guy,
mhm,
but when a lady has to wonder if you enjoy me, that is one of the hardest things to deal
Right.
with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because then at this point, you're like comparing yourself to people that like he's already been with,
Mhm.
he's not talking. Yeah, it's just like one of those situations to where you just really don't know. And then if you have a person that's really not a talker, then what do you do with that too? You know what I'm saying? So there's so many things that goes through your mind. And the crazy part about it is guys have big egos. Women, we have egos too. We want to be pleasing, and if we're not, we need to know what's going on, because if we're not, then that's like a failed part on our thing, and that's like a hit to our ego as well. We have egos.
Right.
So I just think that, conversations are always in place. Now, do or would I believe in having conversations with your friends, your girlfriends? I do not. And the reason why, because I've seen it happen way too many times. I'm talking to you about my man, and I'm telling you what's going on with us sexually, and then whoop, you swooped on
Swoop
in
in there.
there,
Yeah.
and then you done what you gonna do, and then I'm out here trying to hurt you. You know what I'm saying? So I think that if you have a friend or whatever the case may be, if you can confide in her and you feel safe enough to do it, then do it. But I've seen it happen so many times to where best friend Julie talks to best friend Ann. And then next thing I know, Ann over here trying to sleep with my husband. And I'm not, because her mind is curious. She's probably doing the same thing or going through the same thing I'm going through. Or maybe Ann ain't not even in a relationship. But I'm telling you about my mate and all the things. Well, yeah, he's good he's good this way, but I don't know if I'm good. I don't know what I need to be doing. And then your mind gets to be curious about, hey, what does Joe got going on over
Yeah,
here?
for
And
sure.
then she gonna try to sneak in here and deal with Joe. So I feel as if we're gonna talk about those things, let's talk about that with somebody professional and still keep an eye on that one too,
For sure.
because people will do the things and they will hurt you in the long run. So I just think that, be very careful about who you talk to
Right.
about your situation,
Right.
because
True.
women are curious.
Right.
And if they're going through the same situation you're going through,
Mhm.
then yes, ma'am, Pam.
Yeah.
They're they're gonna want to explore what you got going on over here.
Absolutely. Have a level of discernment
Yes.
in the people that you confide in, because people, men and women, they looking for a crack.
Yes.
Looking for cracks to get in.
Yes.
So when you are talking to your friends, you need to only speak to a level of comfort that you feel like you're comfortable with giving out, but also don't give out all the information.
No,
you
no,
know,
no,
like,
no.
because what I've heard with that women do is when they're talking about, men too, when they're talking about it, they don't give like all of the specific details.
Right.
They mainly talk about, this is something I've done in the past that I like.
Yeah.
And I like this, I didn't like this, but they don't be like, all right, me and Joe Bob, but we did this and
Yeah.
he did this to me, and I like, no, don't do that.
Yeah,
Don't give other people ammo. That's that
For sure. You hear me?
Because
Yeah.
in the past, those same people who was giving them ammo, now they calling me again.
Boy,
And I'm
shut
like,
up.
no. And I'm being completely honest. For a long time, I wanted to have a female friend
Mhm.
who I could just talk to. If I've ever called you my sis,
Yeah.
then you my sister for
For real,
real.
for real.
And I don't go there. I don't
Right.
do that. I have lines of boundary. I have a cutoff. I'm not gonna play in your face. I don't do all that.
Not like friends
You know
anymore.
what I mean?
Absolutely. And sometimes you really want to have those platonic friends or whatever the case may be. So, which made me think, can you have a best friend of the opposite sex?
I think it's possible.
Yeah.
I've seen examples of
Yeah.
it. I definitely think it's possible. At this very moment, I don't have any.
Yeah.
But I know people that do, and
Yeah.
nothing's ever come, and it's been years and
you.
years, and like, but here's the thing, and this is one of my honest beliefs. I believe that a lot of friends, at some point, somebody had some sort of
Feelings. Yeah.
somebody.
I thought about it. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yes,
They
of
might not have
course.
acted on it,
Yeah.
But they thought about
they
it.
thought about it, and then
Yeah.
at some point, everyone was like, you know what?
Nah.
I value the friendship over the, because
Yeah.
I think that's just what happens when it comes to male and female.
True.
It just there's a level of attraction, regardless of if you are actually attracted to
Yeah,
them. It just
sure.
kind of happens,
Yeah.
and the more you learn about them, the better you get to know them. It kind of that's just the direction it goes. I like this
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
Oh, is this that type of like or that type of like?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah, for
it kind of
sure.
just happens. But
Yeah.
Right.
I do think that it's possible. It's just you gotta actually squash it and actually mean it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
You know.
I get it. Because my husband tells me that there's no way that men and women can be best friends. And I was like, I feel like there is a way
Yeah, there
that
is.
men and women can be best friends. I really do. But I totally agree with Anthony as
Mm.
well. Somewhere in that friendship, whether it be like you two are just kicking it and you don't have a girlfriend, and he don't have a boyfriend. I mean, you know what I'm saying, the opposite or whatever the case may
Mhm.
be. And then the mind starts to wander, but then you have to get that back into perspective. And
Right,
it's like,
right, for
listen, you're
sure.
my friend.
Yep.
There is nothing going on. We ain't
Yep.
doing nothing. We ain't whatever, because I know, I'm sure, I don't know, no,
Mm.
but I'm sure the mind wonders. You know what I'm
Most
saying?
likely,
Because if we
yeah.
like the same things and we hanging out a
Mhm.
lot, we do the same things, you do not sit there and be like, I wonder if we got in a relationship, how things would be.
Right.
Because we like the same things, we go do the same things,
Right.
how well we would get along. We get along so well. You know what I'm saying? We do this and we do that together anyway, because why would you not? Because honestly, you would want your husband or wife to be your best
Yeah,
friend.
of
And so
course.
sometimes this is how relationships start. They
Right.
start with friendships. And so in order for this person to be strictly your friend,
Mhm.
all emotions and feelings have to be set aside. Now, I love you. You
Mhm.
hear me? With the love of Jesus.
Yeah.
But I cannot love you like I want to sleep in your bed.
Yeah.
Love you.
Yeah.
We can't do that.
Uh-uh.
So me personally, I feel that best friends can be opposites.
Yeah.
That could be opposite opposite sex, but you have to hold those feelings
Right.
in check at all given times, especially if you're not in a relationship, because
Right.
things can get crossed.
Like I
Mhm.
could, like me, I have female friends, but once the fact of you going from the title friend to sis,
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if we was attracted to each other.
Yeah.
Once I call you sis,
We're done.
there's no physical, there is no
Yeah.
diddly daddly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
He
It's
said
none
there's
of
no dilly-dally.
Yeah, it's none of that because
So-
that's my boundary.
Because honestly, sometimes in that situation, you find out something about a person, or that person does something, and it's like, no, we can never be here, but we can always be cool. You know what I mean? And so that's when they be like, hey, bro, what's up, sis? Or whatever.
Yeah,
And
for
that's
sure.
become that sis and that little friend role. And a lot of people don't like it, but honestly, this is the category I have to put you in, because number one, there's something that you've done that I don't like, or something that we just ain't, it just doesn't click for me. And so, and that's cool too. But I totally get that. But I think we didn't win baby over Sally Paul's and Jane's house. But this has definitely been a really cool episode for me.
Can I bring up one more thing before
Yes,
we
you
go?
can. Yes.
This is a topic that me and my wife have discussed before.
Okay.
So like let's say y'all get in a relationship and your partner had a male best friend before you, or he had a female best friend before you.
Uh-huh.
Do y'all have an issue? You know, is there ever gonna come up an issue? You know, where you got to tell your partner to deal with that, or like do you allow that to keep going?
Well, if they were friends before me,
Absolutely.
I'm first of all, I'm going to be very observant of that anyway.
Amen.
Because if they were friends before me, I need to make sure that they are just platonic friends. Because if you're a friend of my wife and now we're in a union or we're in a relationship together,
You need to be
you
my
friend too.
That part.
I
you know
feel
what I'm
that.
saying?
I feel that.
Because if you can't be my friend too, then y'all shouldn't be friends, because now we together. If
Yeah.
we're together, like we, husband and wife, we're one now.
Yeah.
So you can't be the friend to the left side of my body without being the right side.
That's true.
So,
There you go.
So now we're friends too. And
Yeah.
if you can't handle that, then go find you another friend.
Yeah, for sure. I totally agree with that as well. I just don't think that I'm not good with that. If you're my husband's friend, but then you can't be my friend, and then every time we invite you somewhere, you can never go, but whenever he invites you somewhere, then you always want to go. That's just not going to work for me.
Red
Not at
flag.
all. So honestly, there prime example, there is somebody that I know that, and I feel like we get along very well, but then the wife has kind of, you know what I'm saying? I don't think we do. I care about her. I like her. I do. But I feel as if there's something there, and I don't know what it is.
Mm.
And so I just kind of leave that whole situation alone because there's nothing that I would never overstep boundaries. Number one,
Right.
I'm married. Number two, I would never do that because that's not the person that I am.
Right.
But if you're feeling like you need to step away from me, then I step away from the whole situation because what I don't want is some hiccup over here when I really don't even know what's going on.
Right.
And so I feel the same way about my relationship. No, ma'am, no Sam, no Pam. If you cannot be friends with me,
Mhm.
then no. I don't find it to be cool. But first of all, I'm gonna be very observant of what we got going on because there's a lot of people out here that says, "Oh, he's just my friend, they're my friend," but then the whole entire time he didn't choose you, he chose me, and
Mhm.
you trying to undercut me. You trying to
Yeah.
get in there and do some
Yeah.
mess that I don't
Yeah.
like, and you trying to finagle. And so if we're gonna be a whole friend, let's just be friends for real. But if we have to make decisions and somebody has to have an ultimatum, then that's just what it is. Either I understand that y'all are friends, but this is weird to me. I don't like it. I don't like this. And so if y'all can't be friends in the open with me, then you need to choose who you want to be friends with. Do you want me as your wife or do you want her as your friend? And then I move up out the way because I don't like that at all. And there is some people out there that does that. You know what I mean? They love your husband because and they call their title as a friend and they can truly be your husband's friend and this is how they feel. Say for instance, there's a girl named whoever, Mabel. And Mabel is your friend, right?
Mhm.
But she don't want to be friends with your wife
Mhm.
because Mabel has an ulterior motive because Mabel wanted you, but you didn't choose
Mhm.
Mabel because Mabel to you is your sister and she's in that sister mode, been in that sister mode,
Mhm.
and you can't see past that. But then Mabel, she's still trying to finagle. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna see it be your friend because as women, sometimes if you care about somebody, we go off any little word and that gives us a little hope. And so then we hang on to that and we misconstrue words. And then here we go with the little psycho tendencies. But yet and still, I don't want to be friends with your wife. I want to be just friends with you. And I'm not going out to eat because I don't want to eat with her. I just want to eat with you. Because, baby, if you're making those types of demands, then I expect you to be like, girl, we gone. We don't do that here on this side of town. You know what I'm saying? If you can't be friends with us, then my problem is with the guys who don't do that. That's your job. I shouldn't have to go out here and fend for myself
Right.
when it comes to you.
Right.
You know what
That's
I mean?
true.
But that's a whole different episode, a whole different podcast.
That's true.
But I don't like that. So no, if you're my friend, my husband's friend, you need to be my friend. If you can't be my friend, then no, absolutely not. You need to choose what you want this day.
You're
You
right.
hear me?
and for me, like the difference between a marriage and then the difference being in a relationship. In a
Mhm.
relationship, I have this saying: I will sit back and see what you want to do,
Mm,
so that I can see what you would rather do.
right.
So I'll sit back, and if you trying to do this and you trying to do that, I'm observe it all the time. I'm gonna
Mhm.
watch,
Mhm.
but I want to see what you would rather do. Would you rather entertain your friend than your man?
Mhm.
Or would you rather be, you know what I'm saying, cater to your man and your man caters to you?
Right.
Would you rather do that or would you rather do that?
Right.
Give you an option.
Right.
Because I was always taught that that the truth is gonna the truth is gonna tell you the whole story. A lie is gonna have you limited.
Yeah.
So you can lie to somebody all you want to, but that has a point of their mind limited, thinking exactly what you would want them to think.
Yeah.
But if you tell the truth and you put it all out there, then they have no reason to question it because it's there.
Yeah.
And you're observing and you're speaking on that and you're having that conversation about that. Now, if they don't like that, then okay, what can I do to reassure my partner that I chose her and not the streets?
Yeah.
So conversations,
I totally
reassurances.
understand that. But yeah, to answer your question, girl, yeah,
Mhm.
be the friends with everybody. Don't be friends with nobody. That's your options. That's it. That's all, as they say. But yeah, that's my answer right there. I know we did a long drawn out situation, but that's just me.
All right.
What would you do?
For me is as long as he can respect me,
Yeah.
as long as he can respect me and that this is my wife,
Yeah.
and you actually show the actions that you respect me,
Yeah.
I don't got no problem with it,
Yeah.
because I have enough faith in my wife anyways
Yeah.
that, hey, if he step out of line, you gonna do what you gotta do.
That part.
So as long as he don't, try to do anything to you, that's when I gotta step in.
Right, right.
So that's kind of how I feel
I
about it.
totally get it. Now, you're right, and on to a point, because if you're best friends or you want to be best friends with my husband, but yet and still you don't like me, that's why I say that's your job. Take care of that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't take care of that, then I'm gonna have to come out. I'm gonna have to come and step in.
Yeah.
But that's your job. I shouldn't have to be out here defending myself against somebody that says that she's your best friend,
Absolutely.
or whatever the case may be. I shouldn't have to defend myself against any situation that you done brought up here in this house. That's your job. You fix it. And if you can't fix it, then we got problems.
Right.
So I totally agree. I don't have a problem with it, but I'm still watching you.
Oh, for
You know what
sure.
I'm saying? I'm still
For
watching
sure.
you, because, honey, once that seed is planted, what the Bible say, the heart is wicked. We don't know people. We don't even know their heart, because it is wicked. You know what I'm saying? We can know somebody for 7 years and really not know their true intentions.
Mhm.
Well, I feel like this may be the end of our podcast on today. Honestly, if you like our content, just thumbs it up, subscribe it out, tell everyone you know. We have not left with a positive on today. Forgot about that. Anybody want to leave with a positive? Anybody want to share anything that we've talked about on today? Want to leave the little boy or the little girl in the corner with the lights off? Tell them or give them a positive about what we talked about on today. Want to start, you, Bo?
Yeah. Never assume.
Mhm.
Have a conversation. Get to have an understanding, an understanding, an overstanding with your partner, so that there is no what ifs. If you're curious about anything, have that conversation with your partner to always know, because the woman sometimes needs reassurance, the man sometimes needs reassurance. And if you truly are in love with someone, you're looking to please them at all times anyway, and vice
Mhm.
versa. So you're always looking to be better with that person. So positively have the conversation to be better.
True. Amen.
I'm
What
gonna
about you?
piggyback on that conversation. Have the conversation. Like I can't express that enough.
Yeah.
A good deep conversation can change the direction of your marriage or your relationship.
True.
Mhm.
Like y'all could be going in y'all could be going left, and then as soon as y'all have that conversation and y'all get on the same page, y'all can go straight
back in the
forward.
middle. Yeah.
So just
Mhm.
just have that conversation, and that's for marriage. That's for relationships. That's for even like just friendships.
Yeah.
Have the conversation.
True.
Mm.
True. I think they said it best. And this is one thing that we definitely learn in leadership in my job. It's about communication. Having that communication, that open communication, that non-embarrassing communication. If I'm not happy or if I'm not pleased with something that we have going on, then it is my job to open up that communication to let you know how I feel. And honestly, please, whenever you do that, don't be like, listen, you don't do this and you don't do that. I feel like, or I feel as if, because honestly, going at somebody like 10 toes deep in something and you got a whole attitude with the neck and the snapping and the use, it doesn't really work. It doesn't work at all, because honestly, no one's listening to you. No one's listening to anything that you got going on. So if you want an honest conversation, if you want to communicate, I feel as if, or I think, or what do you think, or whatever the case may be. Let's talk about it. Let's just open up and talk about it. And if you're not pleased sexually, explore what that looks like, what that means, or whatever the case may be. This is not back in the day. This is not where we are taught about, hey, this is not what you do. This is your husband. This is your wife. We're trying to make things work. And it's okay to explore different things to y'all's limit, okay? Because my limit may not be yours. And I'm very limited, okay? So that is just my thing. That is just my positive. Just communicate, have an understanding, and lead with I think or I feel. Please don't go in 10 toes deep and be arguing and fussing with nobody, because you're not going to get anywhere when you do. This is all about open communication. This is all about having people to listen and understand and letting them have their say as well. Conversation may be embarrassing, but hey, it's just you two, and you're trying to get an understanding. And that's all that I have to say on today. Anyone else have anything they would like to say?
That's it.
Amen. Well, this is the end of the podcast once again. We hope that you enjoyed the episode and until the next time, guys. Peace.